the main difference between the course that I teach on Dante today and the one that I took in college 30 years ago is probably technology. And for me, that means the Danteworlds website. The Danteworlds website is actually part of a much larger Danteworlds project that includes 2 books that I've published. One just on the Admiral, and the other on the entire Divine Comedy. And the reason I really got interested in this project from the start, or the inspiration for the project, really goes back to the earliest part of my academic career, even when I was a graduate student. I spent a year in Florence doing research. I was working in a library in a building that was actually a very important building during Dante's lifetime, where the Dante Society of Italy is housed. And I spent most of that year just reading commentaries on the Divine Comedy. And these are the ways in which experts explain and interpret all the different characters and references and allusions in the Divine Comedy. And I learned 2 very important things from that experience that have sort of stayed with me for the rest of my career. One was that many of the people who comment on Dante repeat one another. In other words, they sort of look at what the predecessors have said and they repeat that information, from one generation to another. And so it creates sort of almost an echo chamber where you have the same information, often incomplete and sometimes even inaccurate, that's sort of passed on. And so I realized that the best thing for me to do if I wanted to contribute to this and write a fresh, original scholarly commentary was to spend as much time as possible going back to the original sources of information that Dante used himself. And so eventually I started to write up these entries or these extensive notes on the Divine Comedy. And I did it by, as I said, going back to Dante's original sources. And it was based on the conviction that, that using the primary sources that Dante had used was the best way to sort of see how his imagination worked and how he refashioned this material into the remarkable work that is known as the Divine Comedy. So, I made these entries, I created these entries, and then I also realized there was a second thing that was kind of missing from the ways that a lot of us talked about Dante and studied Dante and taught Dante. And that was that we weren't really doing justice to his amazing visual imagination. The way in which it's really important to kind of see what Dante says he saw when he went to hell and purgatory and paradise. And so to bring that visual aspect out, I thought that it might be better not to arrange my material in a purely textual way, line by line or canto by canto, the way the Divine Comedy reads, but actually to organize it geographically. So circle by circle in hell, and terrace by terrace in paradise, and sphere by sphere, terrace by terrace in purgatory, and sphere by sphere in paradise. And this way, the reader of my book would sort of follow the same pathway that Dante and his guides would follow through hell, purgatory, and paradise. So those are the 2 main things that I did when I was starting to write up my commentary. But then it also became clear that a website in which you could actually present visually this material would really sort of bring to life Dante's imagination. And so we began constructing here in I guess about 2001 or 2002 the Danteworlds website. And I was helped with this by the wonderful folks at Liberal Arts Instructional Technology Services, especially Saloni Robertson, a very talented artist who created a number of original illustrations for the website. And people who visit the website often single them out for praise as one of the best parts of the website. And Saloni also contributed to the 2 books by creating the cover images and a few of the illustrations inside of the books as well. So the website, like the commentary that I wrote, is also organized geographically so that the user navigates the regions in the same way that Dante does as he journeys through the afterlife. The website's been very, very successful. It's won a number of awards, and I'm extraordinarily pleased that we have, I think, between 20 and 40,000 visitors a month over the last 5 years on average. And the book itself has already gone into a second printing. So the technology in this case has really been a wonderful way to bring Dante to life.